Welcome back to Beyond Stats. Just got done with another beatdown to before tonight. I would have said the second worst team in the NBA, but that might just be us.
Maybe it's us. Because, this team still doesn't have Anthony Simons back.
Dude. And so there was a change to the starting lineup tonight. Chai Baji got benched for Kelly Olynyk. You know, the most consistent defensive player on our team this season got benched.
Somebody who had put in a couple of unbelievably strong defensive performances and hustle and moving the ball and passing.
And that's my thing. You know, I was going to ask you. I was going to ask kind of you guys is what do you think Agbaji did to earn getting benched? And I understand, you know, maybe it's just trying to mix things up after a couple losses in a row. But like, that's the guy.
I have no answer. When I saw this, when I saw the starting lineup announced, I was baffled. You know, I could understand moving Olynyk into the starting lineup, get a little bit of playmaking, make ourselves a little bit bigger. But it sure would have been Clarkson that should have been out of the lineup.
Yeah.
And look, with our even less defensive starting lineup, look at what they shot on us.
Dude, look at how the game started. They went like legit like 9 out of 10 possessions to start the game scoring. Weird. Who could have guessed that?
Man, I'm really struggling with the decisions for the lineups that we're running this year.
Yeah.
Really struggling.
And it comes the day after Will Hardy had a quote saying that right now all he cares about is if you play hard and pass. And if you don't do those two things, you can't play for the Utah Jazz. Bullshit.
Now you're just looking a little bit dumb.
Because that accountability is only for specific players. Because if that was real, Tucker, Sexton, and Clarkson would all be losing minutes. Sexton finally did lose minutes tonight. But let's be real. If that was really the case, more accountability would be held towards Tucker, Clarkson, and Sexton. Because at some point, you have to hold Clarkson accountable, your players accountable. I do not care how good anyone may be on a team, who they are. The head coach still has to be able to hold every single player on that team accountable.
It's rough for me to find the words right now. That comment to say that you want hustle, you want hard work. How many times does Clarkson miss an assignment, or even when he misses a shot or something doesn't go right and he kind of sulks and doesn't even get back on that onto the defensive side of the floor?
Which happened tonight. He had a really bad possession, misses a shot, kind of lazily kind of walks off, you know, the court, past under the rim. Half of the freaking possession happened before he then sprints back. And there's your hustle, right? Right? Is that the argument there?
And our turnovers,
24.
We're back very high. We had 18 in the first half. Yeah, we would have had more if we weren't playing against their backups, and it was just kind of a casual game after that. Clarkson had 7. Olynyk had 3. Olynyk had some nice passes and some playmaking, and there's some things that he brings by coming in the starting lineup. But the defense fell way off, and I struggle to take the coach serious when he makes a comment like that. I struggle
when he has shown that that's not true.
He doesn't reward that. Now you just look silly.
Because
now you just look silly.
Because if that really was the case, Agbaji would be playing 35 minutes a game, because Agbaji works his ass off every single play of every single game, offensively and defensively. Is consistently moving, consistently guarding the best player, consistently fighting through screens, consistently hustling for rebounds, consistently running back on defense on fast breaks, consistently running on offensive fast breaks. Every single freaking checkbox there is for hustle, he gives you. He also very unselfish. Rarely does he just chuck up shots. Consistently moves the ball.
It's amazing. And I mean, not only did he fall out of the starting lineup, but he was like the number 9 guy off the bench.
Yes, played 14 whole freaking minutes and was still our freaking leading scorer off the bench because he hit a big 3 and had a couple nice drives. Yeah. And that's all it takes to be the leading scorer on our bench right now.
Yeah, it's rough. So I did like seeing Yurtseven get some more minutes.
I agree. I loved that. And, you know, he didn't come out and obviously have 18 points like he did last night, but 3 points, but 6 rebounds off the bench in 16 minutes.
And he plays the correct way.
And you know, he does sets and screens. He plays tough defense. Like, he's a solid backups 5.
He is. I like him playing that position at the 5. That was interesting. You mentioned to me, because you're on kind of some of the chat forums that they have for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
And in one of the topics on there was talking about Ochai getting benched for Olynyk, and it was pretty unanimously, you mentioned, all of the comments on there, like, what are we doing? You mentioned it.
There was not one comment that was like, oh, yeah, that's going to help us win. The only positive comments that were on that about that change were the ones that were like, cool, we're tanking. This is a good way to tank.
Yeah.
Like, when every single freaking person is in agreement of that, that's a problem.
And that's the thing is, you know, we have eyes, we have brains, we can see what's going on. It doesn't jive with the coach, with what he is saying and the lineups that he's playing.
And if we're tanking, and if that's what we're going to do, right, we're running this crap. Why the hell did we not do that last year? We're going to do that this year then instead of last year? Right, that makes sense. That's logical.
One of the best draft pools in a long time would have been last year. That would have been nice.
You're consolidate. You know, your prize if you don't end up with Wembanyama was ending up with a guy like Osar Thompson.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy, right? We got Keontae George. I'm happy with the guys we got, but it doesn't make sense. The lineups we're running are losing lineups, and we didn't do that last year.
That was odd. Once again, I thought Laurie had a bunch of fight in the second half. I saw him coming out and kind of being pissed off and scoring and trying to cheer on his teammates and drag them along a little bit more than he normally does. Those are positives out of him. That third quarter, he got 8 shots. That's what he should have.
And he shot 5 for 8. Well, and that's the thing, though. Why does it take to the third quarter for us to start running plays for our star player?
It takes a halftime talk to our team.
To start running plays to our star player. Our star player doesn't get good looks to start games. Why? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's confusing to me. You know, John Collins, we didn't run anything for him with Keontae George, who that's arguably his best chemistry with Keontae George is with John Collins. Collins, he past few games, and this game for the most part included, is kind of in a struggle his own at the rim, where at the start of the year he was finishing everything at the rim. He seems to be missing a lot of layups and easy shots right now. But at the end of the game, he did make like 3 or 4 in a row, bang, 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 strong move, strong rebound. So maybe that's something that kind of gets him out of that funk, because we really need him out of that funk. But we do need to run more for him as well. He needs to be the screener on plays. He can't just be stand in the corner and shoot. Then he's exactly who he was for the Hawks and last year, and that's not who we traded for. We traded for the guy who was involved in an offense.
Yeah. And not only that, if I'm trying to figure out how to put this into words. There's so much usage on our team with our players that just want to, you know, whatever, kind of create and have fun and find their superpower, you know, to use a term. We have to understand as a team where we are most efficient. And when we have our backup guards come in and play a little 2-man weave at the top of the key, back and forth between Sexton and Horton Tucker, while everybody else is in the corners and waiting, and they're just dribbling and passing, just to each other, back and forth.
It's
4 passes in a row.
What's the semi-pro? Have you ever seen semi-pro?
Yeah,
where he like posts up, he's like posting up, it's like, ball. passes back. All right, now I'm ready. Like, that's what it is,
Okay.
right?
I know what you're talking about. That's pretty close. Those two playing the 2-man weave of what was the team name on semi-pro?
The Tropics.
Florida Tropics. Yeah. Yeah, we're the Tropics, man. So we have to understand where we are most efficient and what the highest percentages are and where we need to go. We need to increase the usage in Keontae George's hands.
Yes.
It seems like it's going down.
Yeah, I mentioned that during the game is the past few games, all of a sudden it feels like we're taking away responsibility from him,
Mm-hmm.
which makes no sense because when we first started him in those first few games, he had a lot of responsibility. He ran a lot of the offense, and everyone looked better for it. Now, all of a sudden, past few games, it's like, no. Bring the ball up and then just hand it off to Clarkson.
Right.
And just get out of the way.
And then he'll tell people to move, or the screens that do come over are just for him to quickly dribble around and get his shot.
Speaking of Keontae George, even in not that high of a usage tonight, 7 assists. He had, 13 points, something like that? But
yeah.
7 assists, 0 turnovers. Fontecchio saved him on one, but
he did.
0 turnovers.
He did. I was wondering how they were going to track that, how they were going to do that stat. So tip our cap to the Portland home court stat keeper. But even like we said, even on his bad games, he's still over a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. And you mentioned as well, the highest assist per game out of all the rookies out there in this class.
Yeah, all season. And that's counting all the games he came off the bench. So on the season, before this game, was at 5.1 assists per game, which is number 1 in the class. And for total assists on the season, he has 30 more assists than the next rookie because he's played every single game.
Yeah. And so even though the usage is down, he still does some positive things. So I've we're going into these next 3 days off or whatever, and we have a turkey day in between, but I'm really puzzled by the lineups. I really don't get it. It seems like Jazz Nation really doesn't get it.
Yeah, and
we're frustrated.
Tony Jones mentioned early into the game, he kind of tweeted out, and it's really worth pointing out, in my opinion, is getting blown out by these guys. It really shows where we were at tonight, because this isn't the Suns, right? This is a team that was on an 8-game losing streak, and they're horrible efficiency on the season and everything like that. This is a bad team. They also played last night. They also traveled back home last night. So all the excuses you want to make for the Jazz, you can make the exact same reasoning for the Trailblazers. And we got blown out. And we ended up losing by 16, but we lost by 16 because we played our starters the entire game, and they benched their starters with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We played our starters the whole time.
We finished with our starters. We were down 25 probably when they came in.
Something like that.
We finished with our starters.
Which, hey, we saw Agbaji with some minutes at the 2.
That's true.
For a whole 30 seconds.
That's true.
It was at the 2.
Ran Keontae George with Agbaji at the 2, what we've been asking for all year, and it did last.
One possession. It was one possession.
And then in come the other players. So
how dumb.
Got some questions, man. What the heck are we doing? Don't want to be such a Debbie Downer, but it is what it is.
It's hard not to be right now, right? That's how we all feel, and you mentioned right before we started the recording is, we got to step back on some expectations. But it once again comes down to, someone had mentioned last night during the game. Why? It's a good thing we're developing Kelly Olynyk and Jordan Clarkson. Funny enough, someone says that last night, and Olynyk ends up starting tonight. For real, who the hell are we developing right now?
Yeah.
What are we building right now? That's where the frustration comes in from the fans. That from all of us is what direction are we going right now? Because we don't have a good one that we're on track for.
Saying we need to figure out who we are, and right now we're just aimless, whatever. Kind of going back to Coach Hardy's statement before the season of maybe we're that team that starts 10 different starting fives. And
how's that going?
oh, hell no, dude. Stop that.
Yeah, how's that worked out?
That's not good. We need to figure out who we are, what our direction is, and go with it.
There needs to be accountability on this team. I don't know who it needs to come from because it ain't come from the coach as of right now, but there needs to be accountability.
Yeah,
that's why teams like the Warriors have been great for so long, because Steph Curry was able to hold everyone in check and hold everyone accountable, and then the other players, even Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, these guys all held guys accountable. Players on this team, coaches on this team need to start holding each other accountable.
And I think we have a core of players that would do that. I wonder how much they're being supported, how much that is being kind of encouraged. Like I said, it kind of feels like that parent that's like, oh, all of my children are great, and we let them do whatever they want. And
you tried.
And they go out there and they make their mistakes and they're creative. But what happens? Nothing. You got to have some direction with this group. Smack a couple of them around, get it back to the old school parenting. My analogy went downhill, but you know what I'm saying.
That really
what I'm saying is you got to beat your kids. Wait,
yeah, that went from I'm
still sticking with it.
Yeah.
I'm still sticking with it.
I'm not affiliated with him.
I'm for old school parenting. Anyways, we need some direction. We need somebody to, if we need to appeal to a higher power there. I mean, We've gone up the chain of command. I don't know if Will Hardy knows what he's doing. We need to ask Danny Ainge and them to
please do something.
Take over and send a couple of players to Detroit so that we can get our lineup correct.
Pull some money ball.
Money ball reference for sure.
Can't start Clarkson tonight. He plays for Detroit.
He plays for Detroit. Another Philip Seymour Hoffman reference.
Yeah, we're killing it right now, dude.
We can't stay away from that Along Came Polly thing. It just sticks, man.
Now, every time Horton Tucker chucks something up and it just smashes into the backboard. It's just straight from the movie.
And
White chocolate.
And it's while he's falling down and
so
Mega Rain.
Yeah. I mean, we got a few days break. Not game till Saturday, so we'll see. I don't know. Let us know what you guys think. Your frustrations, you can vent them out in our comment section.
That's what we do. That's what we're here for.
So, thanks, guys.